While we're waiting, go ahead and enjoy these little mini posters that we have put here on this opening screen. Just some good things to remind ourselves of on a daily basis. And we're excited that you're here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Miss Oxendine, one of the counselors. You'll also be hearing from Dr. Huber. She's our SAP counselor, and you'll see that many of the other student services staff are here with us as well. So to respect your time, we're going to get going. We advertised that this wouldn't extend beyond 12 o'clock, and we want to respect your break in the day because we know you're chained to the laptop a lot. So we want you to be able to take a break. So anyway, today's focus is on stress and anxiety, which are definitely some feelings that we've all been experiencing for the last several months. It's kind of hard to believe that we've been going through this since March now. So it's really a prolonged situation. And that, I think, just adds to or compounds the feelings that we're having. And we want you to know up front that the things you're feeling, we're right there with you. As adults, we have these same emotions. So we don't have any magic answers. There's nothing that's going to be in this presentation that is going to ultimately and very quickly change your life. We don't have any magic wands, as we like to say. But again, good reminders just to kind of take stock of what we are doing to help ourselves be in the best positions to get through this. So Dr. Huber is going to run the slides for me or for the presentation, so we can get going, Dr. Huber. Yeah, so guys, we are all in a situation that none of us had seen coming, and none of us have any experience from which to pull to help us get through this. None of us have lived through a global pandemic before. Everything, is happening from home. And that has really changed the way our lives looked. Go ahead. One thing I remember exactly where I was. I was at the movies at the Raleigh Grand. I was at the counter getting ready to order my popcorn because I love that. And I got the message that came through from Wake County Schools. This was on Friday, March the 13th, that we were going to be out for the next 2 weeks. And in fact, the person who was helping me at the counter was a current student of mine. And I remember saying to her, "Hey, Abby, guess what? We're out for 2 weeks," and it was kind of like, woohoo, party, like this is going to be awesome. And then that 2 weeks has turned into 8-9 months now. So while at first we might have been excited and everybody kind of enjoyed a little pause, and a little break from maybe the hamster wheel or that constant daily grind that we're on. I don't know that we're feeling like that anymore. Our days might kind of feel like Groundhog Day, if you've seen that movie, where we're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And there's not a lot of breaks between the different parts of our lives. It's all housed in our homes. And so that can get to be very tiring, and it can get to be very isolating and very stressful. So we definitely understand that. And here on this graphic, you kind of see all the things that are happening, in your house. You still got your chores. You've still got, the things that are home. But now we've also thrown school into the mix there with everything else that goes on in your house. You might have siblings that are there. That can be distracting. You're around your parents more. You don't have that time to come to school to kind of do your own thing. So it's an adjustment for all of us, and is definitely stressful. So here's a little video that it's not very long. It's just a couple of minutes, but I think it's a good reminder about how the teenage brain works with stress.
Rated using Powtoon.
Okay, yeah, we thought that was a good reminder to kind of take a step back and think about how your brain is processing through some of what we're going on. And I bet you might have been able to identify some things that you're experiencing, maybe some negative self-talk, or some good reminders of things you can do to help deal with your stress. So this is a feeling thermometer. Some of you have probably seen this or some version of it. It rates one's level of stress from 1, where you're cruising, everything is great, you know, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, you don't have a care in the world, you know, all the way up to a 10 when things really feel out of control, and you really just don't know which direction to turn. This can be a very paralyzing feeling. So I want you just to think about to yourself where you consider yourself on this scale today. Maybe even think about it, you know, where you were at the beginning of the pandemic, and how that has changed and evolved. And you might have gone like this, because that's just how life works. You know, maybe you hit a patch where, you know, things were going okay. And then maybe, you know, something with school got a little difficult, or maybe there was a change in your household, or, you know, you might have had a family member who was impacted by COVID, and that was really stressful. So you certainly kind of go up and down on this thermometer, but it's good to identify that. If we can sort of externalize, which means get things out of us and look at it, whether it's on a piece of paper, sometimes that helps just to distance ourselves from it a little bit. So, so now we just want to talk about a couple of things that you might be able to do to get that thermometer down when you find yourself kind of at a boiling point. Okay, it's always a good reminder, and again, there is nothing on these slides that you haven't heard before, but I think because we are out of our routines, some of these may have fallen by the wayside. We may have developed some more unhealthy habits, just due to the lack of structure that we are experiencing right now. Our brains are organs that we must take care of. They're like the engines of our car. They need to be working and running smoothly so that all the other systems of the body are doing the same. And to do that are the kind of basic parts of living a healthy life. Sleep. How much sleep are you getting? I'm not asking how many hours you're spending in your bed a day. I'm asking how much are you sleeping? Teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. You've got to fuel your brain. You've got to eat well. My guess is, you know, your eating schedule is maybe out of whack right now. And you want to eat not too much. You know, you need to pay attention to that. Sometimes we do too much of something, or we don't do enough of something. And you want to eat healthy food. I'm not saying you can't treat yourself to snacks. I just told you I was eating movie theater popcorn, but you know, make sure you're getting fruits and veggies and all of those sorts of things. And you need to give your brain a break. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the next piece of this slide, which is, what are you doing before you go to sleep? I know that a lot of us take our electronic devices to bed, you know, and we're kind of scrolling mindlessly through Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, because we think that that's a way to calm down and disconnect, but actually it's still stimulating your brain. So you really do need to give yourself a break from those things for about 30 minutes. And I think you may find that you get more restful sleep if you're able to do that. So sleep and eat are definitely very important. The other piece of the puzzle is getting outside. The sun, you know, gives us vitamin D. That gives us energy. Sometimes, and you can ask my colleagues, you know, when we're sitting here in our offices, sometimes I'm like, I just got to go outside and get some fresh air and take a walk and get some sunshine, because it re-energizes me. And helps me kind of de-stress too. If I've been just, you know, pinging off emails or phone calls all day, it's just a really good way to take a breath and let nature help a little bit. And then hand in hand with that would be getting exercise. Now, here's the thing with exercise. When you're standing on the outside of it, you're dreading it, or maybe you don't want to do it, right? Like, I don't want to get out of bed and put on tennis shoes, or it's cold outside, or it's too hot outside, or I don't like the bugs, or, there's a million excuses that you can put out there for yourself, creating barriers for yourself. But I guarantee you, if once you get through that anticipatory barrier that you're setting up for yourself, you will feel better. And I don't mean you have to go, for hours on end. A 15-minute, walk around your neighborhood or wherever you may be really gets those endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in your brain firing. And it is a way to get some of that negative energy out, and then you can come back and resume your task. So please try to make room in your day to get up and get moving. Maybe you like to dance. I know TikTok is in my house all the time, and that is a way to get moving. That is exercise. Again, you might like to go outside, maybe go ride a skateboard, shoot a basketball, whatever you can do to get your body moving, because when we're sedentary, everything kind of wants to slow down as well. And then one other thing is music. And I know a lot of you guys really like music. A lot of us do too. And I think what's cool about music is how it can transport you back to a time or a place or an experience or a group of people that was enjoyable for you, and that can lift your mood. And there's all sorts of different types of music that people like, and you have to just figure out what's right for you. Is it a calming type, maybe classical music? Is it something, like Eye of the Tiger, if you were Rocky, that gets you kind of pumped up? Whatever it is, find what works for you. But music really can help switch your mood and help you re-engage or whatever you need to do to get moving in a positive direction.
All right, so this is Dr. Huber. I'm going to be talking about the rest of the presentation. So mindfulness, what is that? What do we do with that? So some of you have heard this, are probably already doing some things in your life, whether you realize or not, that it's mindful. So mindful is about being present. It's about being in the moment, staying focused on the moment, and paying attention, purposeful attention to that moment. We often spend our time, about half of our day, we spend usually thinking about the past or the future. That's where anxiety comes from. We worry about the future, what can happen, what if scenarios, and we tend to go to the worst case scenario when we're thinking about what could happen. Or we are thinking about the past and things that might have hurt us in our past, things that we have difficulty with in our past. And we're living our lives in those ways instead of staying focused on the moment right now. So mindful activities are to bring you back in the present. So one thing that we do, sometimes we even do this subconsciously, is just taking a deep breath. Sometimes when you're faced with maybe doing a big presentation or something, you take a deep breath before you walk into a room to take care of something. And that's actually a mindful activity. So when you take a deep breath, it actually signals in your brain that things are okay. It actually sends a response to your brain, sends that oxygen level up saying, hey, things are okay. So there's actually a physiological, a body response to that. So that's a simple way, is taking a few deep breaths to reconnect to things going on right now in the present, or finding mindful moments in your day. So doing things like getting outside and paying attention to maybe the color of the leaves outside, paying attention to things that are going on, sounds, sights, smells, using your five senses in that way. It could even be finding a mindful moment with your pet or a loved one. So, looking at them, not to just take that perfect Insta photo, but actually just appreciating that time and that moment for what it is. Some more formal things, doing a gratitude journal. So that could be something that you do daily, something simple like, what are your top 3 things? I know I've talked to some students at the dinner table. They talk about 3 things that actually went well today, things that I'm proud of, or things that I'm happy about, things I'm thankful for. It could be a once a week thing where you spend a minute and you just write down things that you appreciate. And it could be simple things. I appreciate chocolate. I appreciate the Dollar Tree. Those are all things that I'm grateful for. So it doesn't have to be something huge, but sometimes we need to remind ourselves of the things that are going well we often acclimate to the bad things that are going on. When you watch the news, it's usually a lot of bad things. And so when we keep hearing all this bad stuff, that's what the brain's going to focus on. So if we can try to purposely think of a few good things, no, it's not going to magically turn everything around, but in that moment, just reminding ourselves of the things that might be working well for us. Some other formal practices is actually meditation and some more formal breathing with that. So it's hard to kind of come up with that on your own and practice that aside from just taking those deep breaths. So there's a link there. There's a bit.ly that actually has a lot of resources on it. So apps, I share that with a number of students. Doing meditation through an app, doing something right before you go to sleep is a good practice for that. So looking at those resources, there's videos on there, there's apps on there, there's recordings on there, there's even some yoga links on there too. So those are all easy ways to just put that into your day. And there's some that are really short too. So, hey, I only have a minute or I have a couple minutes. That's something you could do, I think, especially before you fall asleep. That's nice. So really the trick is whatever is going to help you feel calm and happy, that's what you need to be working on. All right, decrease the clutter. Yeah, I'm guilty of this. My office is usually messy, but getting organized is one key thing. Sometimes when we have that clutter in our space around us, that can actually add to our stress because now that's just one more thing that we have to tackle, and then we can't find something, and that just makes us more stressed with that. So looking at your space, and it might just be starting small, doing something, well, I'm going to organize this as one piece of my room. Maybe I'm going to organize this notebook, starting small with that. But it's not just your space, it's your life. You're getting out of your head too. So we have a lot of clutter sometimes that is in our head. I mentioned thinking about the past or the future. So just trying to live in that moment, living in the present is a good way to remind yourself to get that clutter out of your head. Going outside can help trigger that response too. So, taking a tech break, good way to trigger that response. I always tell students, go find something dumb to watch on YouTube, just to kind of derail that recording that's going on in your brain, either telling you can't do this or this is not working out well. Just do something so that your brain just totally focuses on something else. So that way you can put the energy into that for that moment. Just take a break. So whatever you are into, watch some stuff on YouTube or TikTok to just get your mind off of it so that you can take that break and get that clutter out. Don't sweat the small stuff. Oftentimes when we're thinking about things, sometimes there are things that might be going on in our lives that are big, but sometimes there are things that aren't as big, but it might seem that way when we're experiencing that. It's not to take away from that experience, but trying to have some perspective and asking somebody else for some support and some help for that, because they can help you figure out, is this something that there's going to be a quick solution for? Sometimes I have students that will email me with a whole list of things that are going on. I say, oh, this is easy. We can do this, this, and this. And they go, oh, I didn't even think that was going to be solvable. And by reaching out, it's like, okay, we can tackle this, we can handle this. So trying to realize what can we control, what can't we control, and then reaching out to somebody to get that perspective, thinking about who are good support systems that you have in your life. I'm sorry, the wrong button. All right, so what do we do to manage our stress? So here are the counselors, and here are some of the things that we do when it comes to painting, baking, spending time with loved ones, dancing. Mr. Green loves to clean. Mr. Rogers loves to shop too. We see Miss Feeny down there at the beach, getting outside. Miss Fletcher's singing, and there's my cute kitty. So spending time with our pets too as well. So those are some of the things that counselors do. But what do you all do to cope with stress? So I'm interested, and this is if you feel comfortable. What are some things that you're into? What are some things that you do to get that brain break, or some things that you find helpful or supportive? So if you're comfortable, I'd love to see in the chat to drop a line of something that maybe that you're into, something that you find helpful. So I'm going to have a moment for you all if you feel comfortable doing that. No pressure if you don't. So some things I've had some students share with me. I know some students journal. I know that some students are creative, so doing things that that you like to. This often I see some of you running. So doing things that you like to create, whether you like to paint. I've been painting rocks lately. Is something that I've been doing. Music is a big thing I know for a lot of students. So thinking about those ways to get help. Writing how you feel, whether that's through song, through poetry, through your journal. Yeah, video games. Yep, I do that too. I got an Xbox. I know. So Taekwondo, excellent, excellent. So thank you for sharing that. So the big trick is that it's going to be different for each person. You can even tell the counselors it's different, and it's different for y'all. So finding that thing that's going to be your thing. Ooh, cool, rock climbing. Okay. So yeah, coming up with different ways that are going to work for you. And maybe it's trying something new too. Trying out there and finding something that's going to be different. All right. Thank you for sharing. So here's the counselor's contact information. So we've got it up here. It's also on our website. So please feel free to reach out if you need any support. Emailing us is probably the easiest way to get in touch with us, and it might be something simple that we can talk through email, or we can set up a Google Meet with you all. So I have some students I'm meeting with every week, and we have a check-in every week. Some of them have set times. Some of them it's, when they need something. So whatever's going to be working for you and to best to support you, please let us know, because that's what we're here for, to help you out. All right, so our student services website also has some additional resources on it. So let me take you to there. I'll actually show you a couple different ways. So let me share this tab instead. So if you go to our Leesville website, so to find our student services website, if you go to students and then you go to student services counselors, that gets to us. And under resources here, the personal help page has a lot of additional resources on it. So kind of if you scroll down, kind of get past this top part here, that's like a lot of phone numbers and stuff. But I've got some connections to different websites, finding out some more information about things that are going on in your life. Some of those things are COVID specific too, and some of them are not. I mentioned the Bitly with the mindfulness resources. The link is on here too. So if you didn't write that down or you want to refer to it later, that's on here as well. What's really cool is this visual calming room. This is a good thing to bookmark. And I know it's not from our school, but I think it's cool, so I put it on there. And it's got a lot of different resources for relaxation, meditation, journaling, even coloring stuff on there. It's a really cool place to go to as well. All right, let me share. Hold on. Okay. All right. All right, so this concludes our presentation too. So like I said before, if any of you all need help with anything, please reach out to us. We're happy to meet with you. I know right now it's tough because things are virtual, but it's been working out really well, the Google Meets that I've had with students. So we're happy to meet with you, figure out how we can best support you. So please feel free to reach out. So that concludes our presentation. So we'd like to thank you all for coming. I'm proud of you for coming to our session and taking good care of yourself. That's a sign of strength to look after yourself and to figure out how to support yourself, because I know these times especially are stressful. We got the holidays coming up too, and while that can be happy for some, it can also be very stressful too. I get it. So I appreciate you all coming. Thank you.